Hello garden friends, let's propagate some basil. In this container I have some lime basil, that's the taller plant in the back, and in the front of it I have spicy globe basil, which is my favorite basil. It has smaller leaves, but don't be deceived, they pack a punch. And if you can peek in there, because I plant things so densely, look at that. I was picking some thyme, some lemon thyme the other day, and I pulled out a branch by mistake, so I stuck it in the ground. And there you go, a new plant. I know it's taken root because the leaves are still green and it's been, I think, 2 weeks or so. So it's definitely taken root. So this will eventually be a thyme container because that's perennial. These are annuals. So these will eventually die off and leave the thyme to take over the container, but I digress as usual. So today I wanted to propagate some basil. I actually already started, so let me show you. I took these cuttings off of another basil plant I have, actually 2 basil plants. I took 2 cuttings, one from each, and I was going to come over here to this one, which is the biggest one I have so far in the garden, and take some cuttings. And I thought I'd take you along with me to show you how easy it is to propagate basil. So let's see, this one is taller than the other ones, and I think part of the problem is it was reaching for light, but there's more space in between the leaves. I am going to pick this one, see where it is. I'm going to pick it from a lower down there. So I just pinched it with my nail there. So I'm going to take off all these leaves here except the ones at the top and put it in some water and give it a couple of days or maybe a week. It'll grow roots and it will I'll plant it into the garden. I have a couple of spaces I want to fill in with basil in my pepper bed. So let's see. And since this is my favorite basil, this is the one I'll be propagating. I may propagate some lemon basil because I do adore that one as well. It gets taller. This one I'm doing because it's short and it won't obstruct the view to the peppers. So let's see if I can get another one. I've already cut this one here. This should do. So let me get this one here. And these things grow fast, so it's not gonna miss. They're not gonna miss these little branches I'm plucking off. In a couple of weeks, you wouldn't even know I was here. So let me see. Maybe I can do one more that way. I get a couple plants. I'll pitch this one here. So there. So now I have some basil to cook with as well as to make more plants with. Alright, we are in the garden office now. I have taken off these leaves from the bottom of the plants, and this is what I have left. Let me show you. So this one and this one. Now these ones are longer, so I'm going to put them in the water just to show. This is a solo cup. That's so much water is in there, and I'm just going to drop it in there. And this one. So this one's swimming a little bit. Let's see if I can adjust her. I've also used a spice container, you know, those little, like $1 spices you can get from Walmart. I've used that container to propagate. So just take the top off and put the cutting in it with some water and let it root that way. It's narrower, that's my point. The container is narrow, so the cutting is not swimming around in it. Now this I'm going to put by like a window. You can put it outside. It'll grow roots and you put it in the soil. Now I can put this directly in the soil and it will grow. I've done that numerous times. The bed I'm planning to put it in has a lot of clay soil. It's not the best. I'm still amending that bed, so it'll be a little struggle for it to set root in there. That's why I'm putting it in the water. But I do have these 2 cuttings that were very short then I'm going, actually 3 cuttings, I'm going to put these in the soil directly, and they should do just fine. Now I'm putting them in a container that has a potting mix or looser soil that it should easily root in. So I'm going to do that with these ones here. So this bed here is one of the spots I'm going to put a cutting in directly into the soil. So I'm just going to see a little hole here, pick the chosen one. This will be our friend for today. Put her in, close the soil up around her so that there's good contact between the soil and the cutting. There she is, nestled in. I may or may not water her. It's drizzling right now, so she'll get water some way. And we're gonna move on and look for another home. Let's see. Who wants some basil? Here. This is a dill plant. I planted her after she'd been in a container for 105 years. So she is on the struggle bus, but it looks like she's actually going to seed. We'll see. I may put some more seeds down, but for now, we're going to make a hole, stick in some basil, close it up, plant it. It's easy as that. Now I have one more. Let's see where she goes. Let's find her home. So the opposite side of the other bed where I put the basil, I have a lot of tomatoes, and I think tomatoes like basil. I do have one basil plant here. This is the blue spice basil here. So I'm gonna slide down a little bit and put another basil plant down. Let's see, maybe right here. There's some leeks in here. Let's see. There you go. That should do. So a little hole. Stick in the ground. Establish contact. And done. So that's it. Propagating basil is easy. No reason not to do it. If you have one plant, you can have 100 all over your garden. Just take cuttings, root them either in water or directly in the soil, and you should be good to go. Let me show you an example of one I propagated by putting it in earth, not in water. Let me show you that one. So this is, let me move this weed out of the way. This is a purple ball basil. And it does look like a purple ball. I'd never planted that before. It looked to me like the spicy glow basil. The growth habit looked the same, but it was purple, and I said, sign me up. I bought these seeds from Baker's Creek or rareseeds.com, and the leaves are small. They're actually smaller than the spicy glow basil, which is pretty. But if you look, let me see if I can show you down here. It looks like multiple plants coming out the ground here. What actually happened is I grew this in a water bottle, very small water bottle, and it was winter sowed, but I did not give it adequate light, so it grew lanky. So I had a couple plants in there. I separated them, and while I was trying to plant some of them deep in the ground to try to make it more bushy, I broke off the top of one of them. And so I had one part with roots and very few leaves, and then the other part, which had most of the leaves, was broken off. So I planted the one with the roots in a flower garden. I was using it as more as an ornamental. It's in a flower patch, which I'll probably show in a different video. And then this part I just laid on its side. So let's pretend this was the plant that was broken. This top half is the where the leaves were. And I just laid it down like this with all the leaves, and I stuck it in this earth directly like that. Instead of planting it vertically like you would, I planted it horizontally. And it took, of course, It's basil. It's very forgiving. And now it looks more like a ball, like it was intended to, but it looks like more plants coming out the ground, but it's literally just because I laid it down this way. And it's doing very well. It's beside some orange thyme or orangelo thyme. So there, this is proof positive that you can propagate your basil. So try it. If you have a plant, even if you just bought it from Walmart's or a big box store, and you know how it comes in multiple plants, you can separate those plants and put them out in the garden, but you can also take cuttings from them and make more plants. So unlimited basil, try it. Let me know if you have any success with it. If you've done it before, let me know. Leave me a comment. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for joining me in the garden today.